stop whatever you're doing and listen to this, because if you blink, you'll miss the window. Phones on Figueroa are lighting up. The group chats on La Brea just went code purple and gold. And the phrase I'm hearing from people who don't spook easy is simple. The Lakers didn't kick tires on Andrew Wiggins. They slid a real framework across the table. Not a wink, not a what if. A test-the-water proposal with names and numbers that actually fit inside the CBA machine. This is the kind of moment that decides whether you're hunting Banner 18 or hoping for it. You don't get many of these. And if someone else jumps the line while we slow play, that's how parades belong to other zip codes. Here's the vibe before we dive, and I mean all gas, no brake. I'm going to tell you why Wiggins makes basketball sense in Los Angeles in late April and early May. Why the cap math is way more doable than doomscroll Twitter wants you to believe, and which pieces could move without detonating the spine of the roster. I'll promise you clarity on what's real and what's rumor, so you're not chasing fake, imminent alerts. And I'll put my name on a line in the sand, what I'd send, what I'd protect, and why this front office has to meter a loco at exactly the right speed. You're watching Lakers News Fan Report, where Showtime memory meets bubble grit and grown man trade talk lives rent-free. If you breathe this stuff, hit subscribe, smash like, and type Banner 18 with your city in the comments so we know where the family is watching from. Let's cook. Let's set the scene like adults who have seen a few playoff runs. This franchise pivoted from keep the books light to upgrade the rotation now the moment it became clear the title timeline and the locker room leadership are aligned. That means multi-year money isn't a boogeyman if it buys you real dependable playoff minutes. That's the entire thesis for a player like Andrew Wiggins. He lives in the exact salary band you can match without sacrificing the absolute untouchables. And at his best, he gives you the thing that decides second rounds. A two-way wing who guards up, guards down, and doesn't need the ball to matter. Now, the urgency. The West is a treadmill set to 11. You don't out-vibe that. You outwing it. April basketball in this conference is about surviving heliocentric stars by throwing length at the drive, by switching without panic, by staying out of rotation long enough for the offense to take the hint. Wiggins has held serve on that stage. He doesn't crowd your lead engines. He cuts when gravity tilts. He lives in the slot. He hits the standstill three when the closeout is lazy, and he attacks the shoulder when it's rushed. If you ever watched him as the third or fourth option on a winning team, you know the appeal. You don't need him to sing. You need him to harmonize. Here's the news you came for, put plain. The Lakers have moved from curiosity to intent. They've floated at least one exploratory framework to Miami for Wiggins, and they're willing to keep talking. This isn't fireworks on a ticker stuff, not a done deal, but it's not hot air either. It's the part of the movie where the two sides stop theory crafting and start asking each other, okay, what's the real price? What protections make you feel respected? And how do we both leave this better? If your feed tries to tell you it's happening tonight, don't take that bait. If it says Los Angeles is serious, that's the energy. Serious enough to put names on a page and see if the Heat blink. Why Wiggins? Why us? Why now? Because he slides into the role that always gets written on the whiteboard in Sharpie when you're building lineups around stars. Guard the toughest wing for the first 6 minutes of a half. Be the emergency break when point of attack breaks down. Turn star gravity into back cuts and easy twos. When the game gets ugly, be the adult who doesn't turn the ball over. And because of Miami's own roster math, he is gettable. His number sits in that 20-something range, right where a couple of mid-tier salaries plus draft oxygen can open a door. This is not one of those you need to offer the deed to the house situations. It's closer to pay a real price, keep your crown jewels, and remember you're buying playoff competence. Let's talk fit without fairy tales. Offense first. Think of Wiggins as a 0.5-second decision maker. If your lead creator draws two, Wiggins is the wing who punishes the helper with a cut or a catch and shoot. He will not demand touches that steal possessions from your star. He eats leftovers and somehow makes you feel like they were cooked fresh. He runs the lane, he lives in the dunker when needed, and he understands how to ghost a screen just enough to trigger a switch without burning clock. Defense is the juice. He has guarded ones in a pinch fours when the lineup demands it, and lives most comfortably on the 2-3 band where the league's best scorers breathe. He contests without fouling when he's locked in. He rebounds his position so your big doesn't have to chase. And he gives you the flexibility to toggle between switch and drop without broadcasting panic. Now the money because the machine needs to hum. Wiggins sits around that high 20 slot this season with a player option, hovering a tick above 30 the next. There are a few ways Los Angeles can build to that number. One version where you protect your ascending shooters and your most team-friendly deals involves pairing a mid-teens forward with an 11-ish guard and sweetening with seconds or a lightly protected swap. That matches, it keeps the youth pipeline intact, and it asks Miami to value rotation bodies who can play for them in the right context. Another path, the one that actually makes Pat Riley types perk up, replaces the guard with a defensive forward and adds a real first with protection, something like a far-out pick that turns into 2 seconds if it doesn't convey. That hurts, but it's how contenders talk to contenders. The third path, the one that splits the fan base straight down Fairfax, is to headline with your blue-chip rookie scale scorer and let salaries fill behind him. Personally, I hate this unless you're convinced you're getting 2022 caliber Wiggins for 18 straight months. Cost-controlled shooting is oxygen. You don't hand that out, unless the banner math is obvious. What about the Heat's angle? They're listening because they always listen. Their job is to squeeze at least one real asset without taking back mess. If a third team wants to step in as a way station Utah style and flip Wiggins later for a pick at the deadline, that doesn't actually kill LA's pursuit. It just changes who you're negotiating with. Sometimes the middleman is your friend because he can absorb money you can't send to the original partner, or he loves a young piece of yours the first team didn't. The league does that dance every winter. The trick is to have your protections and your priority young player pre-negotiated so you can sprint when the music changes tempo. Let's draw a bright line between fact and fan talk, because that's how you build trust in trade season. Fact, the Lakers are staring down a West where two-way wings decide series and where your stars deserve a teammate who makes the game smaller and calmer in money minutes. Fact, Wiggins is in the right salary band, on a contract you can match, with enough pedigree to help now if the motor is where it needs to be. Fact, communication lines are warm enough that we're beyond the whodism stage. Now the fan talk, responsible version. An offer at this point means a soft proposal, a skeleton the other side can either laugh at or mark up. It's a first round of poker, not a river shove. It means back and forths about which pick protections are acceptable, which names are sacred, and when aggregate rules let you stack contracts cleanly. It does not mean Woy bomb. It means grown-ups are talking. Worried about risk? You should be. That's how you avoid dumb moves. Wiggins comes with variance. His engine has had lulls. When that happens, it shows in rebounds and activity before it hits points. If he exercises that option a year from now, you're paying near 30 for a 31-year-old roll wing. That's fine if he's 30 playoff minutes good. It's rotten if he's an 18-minute maybe. That's why the outgoing price has to sit in the hurts a little, not a lot zone. You can't strap your future for a guy whose top gear you need to see every other night between April and June. The beauty of the frameworks we've outlined is they ask you to sacrifice, not self-destruct. Let's talk rotation, because fit only matters if the minutes are real. Day one, the coaching staff can define Wiggins' job in language he knows. Start the half on the toughest wing for the first 6 minutes. Slide to the second unit as the defensive adult with one scoring guard next to you. Close with stars when the matchup calls for another switchable body. Pair him with your best backline communicator so he can chase without fear. Use him to patch the corner 3 leak that's been giving you heartburn. The goal isn't to turn Wiggins into an on-ball scorer. It's to make life easier for the guys who are, and to reduce the number of possessions where you pray your scheme survives one more drive. Timing matters. You can move quicker with clean salary matches. You can move smarter if you wait for the date where half the league becomes trade eligible, and aggregation hurdles fall away. The market rarely rewards patience if 5 teams convince themselves They are one wing away. But it sometimes rewards precision, knowing exactly which protection makes you comfortable and exactly when to walk away. If another contender blinks first and overpays, you shake their hand and pivot to the deadline rental tier. That's the hedge. But if the door sits open at a tolerable price, you don't talk yourself into tomorrow. Tomorrow, somebody else's parade route just got mapped. There's one layer I can't stop thinking about, and it's role clarity. The version of Wiggins that moved a parade learned to live inside the superstar's shadow and sharpen the edges around him. Guard this guy, cut when he looks, hit the open three, do not dribble the air out of the ball, and absorb the heavy minutes so your lead legs are fresh for closing time. That's a language Los Angeles can teach on day one. It also fits the locker room's vibe. Grown men who value jobs done well more than box score fireworks. So, do you do it? Here's my straight answer. If Miami is open to a deal built around a mid-teens forward plus an 11-ish guard and draft oxygen that doesn't mortgage the house, I say yes before breakfast. That's adult team building. Turn overlapping money into a playoff wing who raises your defensive floor and lets your stars breathe on offense. I protect the best value contracts and the top shooter on a rookie scale, because those are the arteries that keep contenders alive. If the ask jumps to your blue chip rookie, plus an unprotected far out first, I hang up. That's not fear. That's discipline. Banners are expensive, but they're not blank checks. Here's my personal line in plain English. I'm good with a package that sends real rotation money and a couple of seconds or a light protection swap. I could swallow a far out first if it's protected to the moon and turns into seconds if it doesn't convey. I'm not touching the crown jewel youth because that's how you keep shooting in the building when the tax lines get hot. I live with the player option because that's the ticket price when you're shopping in the veteran wing aisle. And I remind myself the plan is banner 18, not a headline. The shortest path to the parade is sometimes the quietest move in January that looks obvious in May. Your turn, Laker Nation. What's your package and what's your walkaway? If you're in the chair, are you sending a mid-teens forward and an 11-ish guard with seconds attached? Or are you adding a top 10 protected far out first to make Miami pick up twice? Do you hold the line for the rookie shooter no matter what? Tell me in the comments exactly where you land and why. Not just who. I'll shout out the sharpest cap-savvy takes in the next video. And do me a favor, tell me what you think of this format. Faster, story-driven, bar chat energy, clean lines between fact and speculation. You want more of these deep dives, where we marry basketball fit with cap reality and give you a real opinion at the end. Say the word. If you rocked with this, hit subscribe, smash like, and send it to the friend who still keeps their Kobe Paul parade tee in the closet and believes defense wins June. We'll keep the phones charged, keep the sirens ready, and keep repeating it until it's true. Banner 18 is a plan, not a prayer.